On the east side of the Khafre Pyramid is an area which some speculate is an ancient lightning strike or ground zero of a coronal mass ejection.
Yeah, right. Pulverized is bigger than atmospheric lightning, but even in modern times they've talked about atmospheric lightning spin, but it will hit a spin and can penetrate 20 meters. So when you have a solar outburst, if you flash outburst,
They say this is an ancient lightning strike with evidence of vitrification.
I know, I'm very scientific.
Hold on there with your fancy terms. Talk to speak English.
running down.
So Dr. Sean can sort of slow it down a bit.
What? Yeah, when you start I'm convinced when you start looking at the overall plateau, yeah, you have a big dendrite of it, if you would. Because you can start to see it there, and it runs down the causeway, and you get the dendrite pattern. It's hard to see. This was limestone. This was your bedrock. Yeah, this was limestone. Charred and burnt.
He's saying this is vitrification from a solar outburst. I know it's just like iron deposits that are rusted.
Everyone hear that?
More of that vitrification right next to the Mortuary temple.
Or maybe an iron deposit.
No.
Yeah. I've got my magnets, my rare earth magnets, and I'm going to try them
The
out.
skeptic says it's iron.
Well, feel it. Anyway, I'm going to get back, crush some up, and we'll see if it's iron. I think it could be an iron deposit.
Where's your magnet?
I've got another sample on at the moment, so I'll do it when I get to the hotel. I've got one with a sample attached to it.
You see that on camera?
I got one from the Serapeum. There's loads of iron in it. I've got a really good iron sample from the Serapeum. I'm not joking.
Mortuary temple. Doesn't look open. Kahfre. We're going in. This looks all quarried. Just busted up. Chunks of granite just tossed around. Granite. Big chunks of limestone. This temple's in similar disrepair to the Menkaure and Sphinx temples. Same arduously shaped, large block construction, and another pack of feral dogs, though not as territorial. We find granite shards with low relief carvings, as well as cove details and tight inner radii. Then a solar boat pit, and people must like climbing into this one. This is one of the boat pits. This one's in right by the Khafre Pyramid and the Great Pyramid. On the east side of the pyramid, we see the blocks of the first 2 to 3 rows are huge, but the size tapers off quickly. We see pavement blocks as well as non-precision core blocks, and I find these flat areas perplexing. The bottom casing stones on the north and south are granite. This looks like a modern restoration, but for what purpose? I have no idea. This is the Khafre Pyramid. Look at these massive blocks behind the smaller blocks. And then you got a couple layers that are much shorter. Then it starts getting taller again. I always envision these as being perfectly square blocks throughout, but they're really not. The core's pretty rough. Again, you just envision these being so perfect, but you look at the edges, and they're just blocky and jagged. And granted, that's centuries and centuries of sitting here. Millennia. The second pyramid is attributed to Khafre, dated circa 2570 BCE, 4th Dynasty, Old Kingdom. 274 cubits high, 411 cubits for the base, slope angle of 53 degrees, 10 minutes. Core blocks are limestone, bottom casing course is granite, and what casing remains at the top is Tura limestone. On the south side we have some curiously stacked large limestone blocks, a chunk of granite which is being shaped into a wheel of some sort, possibly a grinding stone, then this diagonal shaft missing its metal cover. Unfortunately, it was full of sand. My first thought was trial passages, but I believe it's actually the substructure of the now non-existent satellite pyramid. This is the backside of Kahfre, and you can see the bottom 2 to 3 courses are the actual bedrock that they dug down into because the plateau sloped up. So they dug down and they used all the blocks that they pulled out to level up the other side. Over on the corner you can see better that it's solid bedrock and there's no vertical joints. There's some blocks, but down here it's just solid bedrock. There's some natural fissures. Granite casing stones, very narrow. Here's some nice ones. Again, this corner is entirely bedrock. And the wall that they carved out, you can see little doorways and chambers that they have blocked off. That one even has like an air conditioning unit. This metal door. So these might be entrances to the underground passages. Because that looks like an AC unit. Compressor. This one's open. Just a chamber. Doesn't go anywhere. Doesn't go anywhere. But it's squared out. Some kind of false door looking thing. It's nuts. Nice and cool in there. This bedrock wall was riddled with holes, diagonal and vertical shafts at ground level, as well as cut chambers blocked by metal doors. Turns out some of them are used by the site guardians as off-duty lounges. We're on the side of the Khafre Pyramid, next to the bedrock wall. channel that you see all over the plateau. This one they actually filled with cement. More diagonal passages at floor level. And just go down, down. Man, that you can't see the bottom of that one. They're all padlocked up. Bedrock wall around Khafre. The Great Pyramid. Khafre. The amount of bedrock which was removed from this area in order to achieve the level base is impressive. I've read that this is the name of the quarry master, from when the stones were being taken for buildings in Cairo. I can't read hieroglyphs, so I'm unable to verify. Another blocked up chamber, remnants of casing stones, and traces of the original quarry. Two things stand out for me: the uniformity of the grid work and the size of the saw curves. On the northwest corner, we see another grouping of large blocks. I'm actually surprised more of this isn't solid bedrock, considering the height of the adjacent wall. As we saw in the Great Pyramid, the core blocks aren't standardized and gaps are present. Lined up across the front is a long row of granite casing stones. I'm not sure if these are all in their original location or if they've been staged. Then we have the lower entrance, which is the one used by tourists. There are two known chambers. The lower is fully carved into the bedrock and was closed during our visit. The upper is mostly carved into the bedrock, but large blocks create the vaulted ceiling, and it's offset to the north of the apex. We were quickly searched for cameras and told no pictures allowed. I think this is where you go in, which we're doing. Descending to Kahfre. Looks like the walls and ceilings have been retouched. It's stucco. From what I've read, upon discovery, the walls were encrusted in salt. So either that was removed and what we see is the original surface with pitting, or it's been resurfaced. Could be a mix of both.
I think it's to protect from touching.
Might be a guard down here, so cutting it. Bottom of the passage, you can go straight. Little niche on the left. That's the passage to the side chamber, but it's blocked off. This plate from Paring's survey shows a single chamber with a vaulted ceiling. I assume the niche at the top is for rotating large items in order to make the turn. And this goes back out. And then another ascending passage. And people yelling.
I don't know.
Alright, we're gonna go up there. See you up there. Halfway up this ramp, if you look back, there's steps up into something. And a vertical chamber. That something is the passage that leads to the upper entrance. The vertical chamber I'm unsure about. Is this first section original? Who dug the tunnel? Did they dig it from outside or inside? And for what purpose? Oddly enough, it's very similar to the forced passage of the Great Pyramid. I can't find any information regarding this hole, but we'll see one just like it in the Queen's Chamber of the Great Pyramid. Tunnel Queen's chamber, and then it steps up to the level of the tunnel. It's a pocket for a beam. Supposedly, old surveys say these pockets are 1 foot to 1.5 feet deep. I have yet to find that source for myself. Just like the Queen's chamber. Incense in the floor. That's only about 1 foot deep.
Yeah. Unless they filled it in.
It's a solid granite. It's got a lip on the lid to seat into it, but it's channeled out on 3 sides. Like you could slide it off to the back, and then holes for the pins. 1, 2. And it comes up to mid-thigh on me for depth. Couldn't pass up the opportunity to try out the box. If this old sketch is accurate, the entire chamber had flooring blocks. Where did they all go? The ceiling of this ascending passage. Up there's that chamber. You can hear the air rushing. I think that connects to the hole in that corner. Had to cut quick due to an approaching guardian. That hole doesn't connect to the chamber. If we go off pairing survey, it just loops up to the junction of the upper and lower passages. Back on the outside, we get a good look at the northeast corner. Notice that 270 Hz tone is very noticeable on the east side and much less on the south side. To me, it was inaudible on the west, north, and interior. Granted, I do have some hearing loss. Next to the Khafre Pyramid, we have Great Pyramid. The solar boats in that shed. The entrance is on the opposite side.